In tonight's Healthier Me, after a big Thanksgiving meal, there's always the question of what to do with all those leftovers. But some studies show that you may not want to reheat some of the holiday feast. Marley Hall explains.
If you have leftovers from Thanksgiving dinner, beware. Not all your favorite dishes may be safe to reheat and eat. Clinical dietitian Lindsay Malone of the Cleveland Clinic says, don't save the rice. When it cools at room temperature, bacteria can grow rapidly.
That bacteria is resistant to heat, so even if you are heating it to the normal temperature, it doesn't matter. That bacteria is still going to be there.
Another staple to toss? Potatoes cooked in aluminum foil.
Letting it cool into that temperature danger zone, and then also keeping the foil on it, you've created this bacteria breeding ground. You may not heat it sufficiently to kill the bacteria.
Foods with a high moisture content like stuffing should also be thrown away. When it comes to poultry, Malone says reheat it to the proper internal temperature to avoid bacteria, and don't store the whole bird.
Again, that's setting up the situation for bacterial growth. Cut it up into smaller portions, cool it quickly, store it within about 2 hours.
The very young, old, and those with compromised immune systems are more vulnerable to foodborne illnesses, so it's best to avoid having a refrigerator full of leftovers.
For foods that you do plan on saving, make sure that you get that food into shallow containers and into the refrigerator within 2 hours.
And if you are going to reheat the leftovers, use the oven, not the microwave. It's not the quickest, but it cooks more evenly.
I disagree with her advice on dressing. You can eat dressing for days. Malone says it's best to toss any leftovers after 3 to 4 days. Many college students have big exams to prepare for after this holiday weekend. So what's the most effective way to prepare? New studies suggest the learning strategy known as practice testing may protect the memory against stress. Researchers at Tufts University in Massachusetts say students who took practice tests had much better recall, even under high levels of stress, than students who used the conventional study method of rereading the material. More seniors are going to the emergency room because of issues with their medications. In a new CDC study, older Americans accounted for 35% of emergency room visits for adverse drug effects, which is up from the average 26%. Blood thinners, diabetes drugs, and opioids were responsible for the majority of those visits. Stick around, we've got sports coming up, a close look at one of NDSU's best tacklers.